wanted to speak to you about, in this case, Trigger Point. I did get to see the last movie I saw of yours was for Achilles Escape.
Oh, wow.
Fifth. Good job. So the look kind of looks a little familiar.
Yeah, this is, I think we might have used my hat for Achilles. It was a lower budget thing. Charles' officer said, you can keep the hat. So thank you very much. I said, they don't pay these movies. They really don't.
They don't, but you know what? They have great storylines.
And cool people in them.
Yeah.
Saul Williams. And in fact, a couple of those guys from Achilles are up for supporting actor Canadian Screen Awards. I know this because although I'm in that film too, I didn't get nominated for that, but I did for Sugar Daddy. So I'm up against my colleagues for movies that are all sort of out at the same time, which is kind of fun.
That's fine. Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
But going back to, in this case, with Trigger Point, you played this character was a little, I don't want to say too much, but you're very good in persuading in this case. So can you tell us about your character, how in this case as an actor, here you are acting as your character. It's like a friend, but yet, trying to kind of fool him.
Well, let's keep in mind, these people are long-term undercover agents, right? That's their job. It's essentially the same job as that of an actor. We are pretending, lying for money. We want someone to believe something that we know is patently not true. You'll believe I am who I tell you I am. That's the nature of the deal. And listen, as an audience, we love that kind of stuff. I don't know how many times I've rewatched Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, the Jean Le Carré thing, because all the people are good. I know how it ends. And I still go, oh, I never saw that. That's so cool. These layers of detail in the impersonations, the way people are pretending to do stuff. So for us, that's the challenge every day of being an actor. When you can do it and actually be a spy or a kind of super agent, as we all are in this case, in Trigger Point, it's a really fun exercise because at the time that we're speaking, we're sincere. In order to be convincing, you have to have a little kernel of the truth. You have to sort of believe it, right? If you'll notice, and I hope this doesn't happen to you an awful lot in your life, but the people who lie to you most effectively usually have a little kernel of the truth in the lie. Watch for that.
Well, yeah, now I'm going to really be paying attention and be a little skeptical.
Well, sometimes when I was, being perhaps just a little bad, I would suggest that the best way to get away with something was to simply tell the bald-faced truth, which would seem incredible, and therefore that you were making it up, when in fact it was actually the bald-faced truth.
Okay.
Did you murder that person? No, I just shot them in the head and hit them with a baseball bat. Of course, right.
I have learned that liars tend to answer right away. They don't pause.
Thank you. I'm writing that down because I'm never going to do that as an actor again, right? I'm always going to add a little, reflection.
Something like that. There you go. Now let's talk a little bit about the scenes in the film. My highlight was the dialogue that took place in the pier. Can you tell us about recording that? Because that was beautifully done.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, because it was a real challenge. It was a very cold, but very clear and extraordinary day for filming. I mean, cinematography wise, it was absolutely gorgeous. And I like cameras. I don't know if you see behind me, but that's all film and lenses and stuff. And so I love being a part of that stuff, because if you grasp how effective cinematography is in terms of the storytelling, and Brad Turner, our director, is a real fan of that stuff, it does part of your job for you. So if Barry Pepper, extraordinary actor and a lovely guy, the two of us just standing on a pier, okay, so that's the given, right? Mm-hmm. But what's the backdrop? Where are we? It's this bleak lakeside. The waves are going like crazy. The sun is setting. The clouds are going by. It's sort of gunmetal gray. The wind is up. The waves are up. And because it's COVID, and I never thought about this until I turned around and when somebody said cut, there's not a plane in the sky. There's no evidence of any other humanity other than just the two of us standing there, hashing out our issues, not to give too much of it away, but we're doing it against this rugged landscape that's telling a large part of our story. And there's a lot of, answering a lot of the questions that the show brings up, and, solving the mystery, if you will. And so it's pretty harsh, sort of end of game stuff. And we didn't have many takes because, you can see the sun is going down, and when it's down, it's dark. And there's nothing else we can do. And so we were in a rush against time. We had other stuff to shoot that day, but we were all, I can't tell you the excitement from the crew, not only that we were working under COVID conditions and managing to get the job done, but that we managed to capture what was so unique in the landscape, in the sunset, with the lake rushing up against it, essentially telling half of our story for us. It was a pretty thrilling artistic moment, on top of which Barry and I didn't screw up the lines, which is, the most happy making for an actor. You think, I may just have one take at this. I better be ready. And so the professional challenge, as well as the artistic challenges, are very high. And we were obviously very proud of it. So I'm glad that you noticed.
Yes, I actually rewinded and watched it again because I was enjoying at the same time, like the background. It was just the perfect setting to probably get in character. Did it take one afternoon?
Oh no, we had only the latter part of one afternoon. We had a whole other day's shoot because you got to chase the light, and it was sort of still wintertime here, and the sun doesn't stay up for very long, and when it goes, it's absolutely gone, and there's nothing we can do, especially outside. You can't really drag a bunch of lights around. So we were under enormous pressure, and we didn't get down to the lake until late in the afternoon, and we had to do all the guys approach the lake shots, and we had to do the guys running through. So that's me running through, then Barry running through, a couple of other people running through. And then finally, and I knew this, we were going to run out of time. And so you just hope that your preparation is satisfactory, and that you're ready to go, and that you won't make mistakes, and the director doesn't have to cut and go, oh, you have to do that again. Because of course, you recognize how far we are out on that pier, and there's nobody for miles. That means all the camera and crew, they're at some distance from us as well, with longer lenses and radio mics. They just hope that we can hear in all this, because it was real wind, and I'm really smoking and really trying to get across. And of course, we're not standing close together, so we have all of that going on. And we managed to achieve it in record time. There were a lot of high fives, and wow, we're awesome at the end of that particular day.
I can agree any more than that. So is this if not mistaken, this is not your first time you work with Brad Turner, the director, right? Because you worked for 24.
Yeah, I mean, Brad very wisely drew on his experience with a lot of us from 24, Carlo Rota, Nazneen Contractor, so we know how good he is, and we know how he works, and he knows that we get the genre. We're talking spy, action, thriller. There's a way to do this kind of stuff. And it's one of the things that is wonderful about the way Brad works, because he's so efficient. He's done so much stuff for television. When he moves over to film, or say cinema, he wants to tell a story in much more photographically, right? In TV, you tend to be close, go. There's the stars. That's what we're paying for, and move on. You don't have a chance to really establish the ambiance, the atmosphere of the thing. And that was really key for him, and for all of us in it, going, where do we fit into his concept of this spy thriller that is going to involve geography, right? Landscape, the barrenness, the isolated nature of where Barry's character lives. He's remote, he's hidden, he's underground. How remote? Well, we'll show you, right? And so all of that stuff is really fun when it's used as a narrative device. And so it was just like a bunch of old friends very gratefully gathering, masked, shielded, protected, rubbing elbows, and then getting the job done.
Well, it must have been nice to be working during, in the middle of it, for sure.
You know what? It was a huge relief for me because I mean, I'd been out of work for about 8 months before. And indeed, Brad had been trying to make this film earlier in the year. And only because of COVID could I have been in it. He was going to say, sorry. He was looking for me early in the year, but I was busy in Stratford doing the theater. And when the theater dried up and died, I sat here twiddling my thumbs for months and months and months. And then luckily that meant Brad could pitch the movie again and decided, hey, let's go now. A lot of those actors that weren't available are now not only available, but desperate and probably slightly less expensive. I'm sure we can get them now. And so he reached out again, and I was only too happy to jump on board. And of course, we managed to do it with all of the COVID capable protocols safely. And, everybody got to work and nobody got sick.
That's great. And real quick, where was the location of where that pier was?
Why are you thinking of tourist chopping that one? It's very famous. It's in Bayfield, Ontario, and it is a landmark Bayfield, Ontario lakefront spot. It's where the marina is. So a lot of the folks who park their boats, sailboats and stuff there. There was actually, there's a funny anecdote, somebody desperately trying to get in the movie. Like, it was a crappy day, right? It's really cold. The lake is going nuts. The wind is whipping up. And there's a long sort of alleyway in the channel where the boats come out of their dock. And I don't know why this boat was actually still in the water. It seemed very early in the year, or rather late in the year for it. But these two guys in a sailboat, but with the little motor on it, start putting out past us. Well, now they're in the shot, and they're going to be in the shot for as long as it takes for them to get out of the shot. And then they raised the sail and floated across. We thought, this is a lot of work just to be an extra in a movie. And luckily we managed to get what we needed without them in it. But that's where it is, Bayfield. Beautiful Bayfield, which Brad knew and knows like the back of his hand because he's from there.
Oh, I get it. Well, thank you so much. And just to finalize, I have to ask, I can't speak to you and not ask something about Marvel. Do you have any figures of your Marvel character?
You mean of King Laufey?
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I have a couple of action figures of things I've done, from Chronicles of Riddick to the Umbrella Academy's Reginald Hargreaves, but alas, Laufey is not in the collection at the moment. If somebody'd like to send me one, I'm happy to receive it.
Well, we're putting it out there for you now.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you so much for your time and good luck. I enjoyed this conversation with you, and I could continue on.
Thank you so much. Me too. Cheers.
Thank you.